Monday. It's 5:32. You know what that means. It's the Monday live show where anything can happen. I'm still somewhat fluish. I'm outside. More on that shortly. But special guest for a special episode. You didn't see anything, Dave? Ugly Dave from Canada.
I didn't see nothing, man.
What good are you then?
Look, I'm just here to grade, to be aesthetic value, you know.
All right.
I'm here to give away things. That's why I'm here, Matt. I'm here to give away things.
All right. Well, we are going to let you give away things if I'm in a good mood. We'll see how that goes. Also joining us for the first time, brand new guest. I just met him like 48 hours ago. It's Matt Mason, who usually wears Bass Pro Shops hat, but right now he's repping Resolute Coffee. Welcome to the program, Matt Mason.
What's up, Matt P. Davis? There's no way I could come on the Hybrid Fitness Media live show and not represent my guys at Resolute. I would be drinking a cup of coffee, except for the fact that it is too late in the day and I will not sleep tonight.
I don't know who it's too late for, but I
mean, are you the reason why I feel sick today? I didn't realize that you were fluish. You might be the reason why I don't feel great today.
All right. Well, here's where I've landed. Here's where I've landed on almost feeling bad about being around people. Because when I posted that I was trying to recover, I was in my room most of the day on Saturday. First of all, I was going to make the trip. I was not doing great. And obviously, I've been looking forward to this trip for a long time, for media purposes, for racing with my relay buddies, all the above. And on Thursday, I was like, oof, I'm not doing well. Stacy went to the store, got me some stuff, and I started feeling a little better before I went to sleep. And I was like, all right, I'm going to set the alarm and get on the plane tomorrow. And then I landed and felt shitty, stayed in the room almost the whole day. And Jack Bauer posted, hey, man, if you're sick, stay away from me. Also, stay away because there's other elites racing, and they were racing at DECA Worlds. They wouldn't appreciate it. And I was like, fucking thanks, Mom. And so I thought about it for a minute, and I almost felt bad. And I thought, you know what? People go to an event with 5,000 at least other people. Are you checking them all for cold and flu? Are you giving them MRSA tests? You got on planes. Listen, being around me is no worse than being around 5,000 fucking strangers. If I cough on you, then that's really bad. But I did do that.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm not walking around with open sores, you know?
It's the post-COVID world. I mean, like, I think that's just a fact of the matter. Like, I don't think it's necessarily you being sick. I think it's a lot of us work from home now. We actually don't get a ton of human exposure. Then you throw a bunch of bodies in a tight space without, like, if it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody else. So I actually, although I was giving you a hard time, I don't blame you.
Well, no, some people like started out kind of doing this, like fist bumping from a distance. Then you start talking and people don't care. It's funny though, because I went back to listen to my World's Toughest podcast and I heard myself cough a couple times talking to people. And I'm like, ooh, there it was. There was the beginning. And that's probably where I got it, being around lots of sick people. So we do want to talk about, we do want to talk a lot about this weekend, but I actually have notes and I want to talk about where we're going to start.
All right. Can I start? Can I start my thing first?
Your thing?
My thing. As I said, I'm here to give away. I'm here to help. I'm here to be of use to the people.
Yeah. Brendan was with me the whole time. He feels great.
But first off, I do want to say I'm with Jack Bauer. You are the bringer of the plague. You are to be shunned. You should not be near anyone, and you should have been locked up. Totally,
Dave.
Totally
this is his podcast, Dave. You can talk about this.
No. I've been trying to get kicked off the podcast for years. It just doesn't happen. Okay. No. You should be shut. Anyway, but can I set up my thing and then we can go?
As soon as I applaud Houston Texans for saying people get sick. Good job, Houston.
Damn right. Okay. Yeah. Eat some dirt. We're all good. That's what we race. Anyway, so can I say my thing and then we can have that on the side?
Yeah. Fucking touch grass. That's what my kids say.
Touch grass. All right.
All
right. I'm gonna do my thing. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm gonna give away a Hyrox race today as an official Hyrox ambassador. I'm going to use today's live show as
Hell yeah.
an occasion
Let's
to give
go.
away a free Hyrox code. The way you're going to win this code is in the comments. Whoever guesses my PFT time I ran while wearing a 20-pound weight vest. So whoever guesses that closest to that, or if more than one person guess it dead on, we'll do a little wheel.
Does that qualify as Goofy Games? A PFT with a 20-pound vest? That
It does, because I had to wrestle an alligator. That was part of it. Part of it was you had to wrestle an alligator.
Quick question, Dave.
Yes.
So first of all, we're going to open this window a couple times as people come in and out of a live show. So we'll open it up a couple times, and you can guess once though, because see, they're starting to come in. You could guess 10 times, and then you'd eventually get one.
No,
so
one guess.
Okay, so wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. None of the spamming guesses, you bastards.
They're already coming in. So Dave will have to go back later and watch these.
Oh, and one stipulation too. This is a North America only code. You can still win it if you're overseas, but then like you need to like pawn it off on somebody else or give it as a Christmas gift or something along that lines. Okay. But it can't be used for overseas. It's North America only races.
Or come get this North America work.
That's right. That's right. Matt will throw down with you. Complete with this code is Matt throwing down with you.
All right. Well, listen. So this is perfect. Okay. This is my intro. This is my intro to what I want to talk about next. Just Matt, you're a good smack talker, which makes you perfect for the program, perfect for the fellas over at Irmer and Race Brain. Can you kind of quickly tell the world how you got connected to those guys? Because I didn't know who you were. It was just, hey, Matt's doing interviews now, and I was like, okay, I guess they got a new dude.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. So when I got into Hyrox, I got into training. I was looking for a Hyrox 101 coach, and I actually reached out to Rich, and he was like, no, I'm full. He's like, but my boy Kent is taking people. So if you want to work with Kent, he's like, I can get you hooked up. So I started training with Kent. It's been a little over a year now. And through that, I, kind of got into the RMR scene, like kind of, then I went to Rich's camp in Colorado. That's where like Rich and I became like closer. And I joked with him because he was like, dude, you know a lot about this stuff. I was like, bro, if you ever want me on the pod, I'm there. I'm in there. I guess I should actually back up a little bit. I was also in Nice. So I qualified for Worlds last year. So I was in Nice.
Little humble brag. Sure. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, it'd be a lot more impressive this year when you're 1% of the world. Last year were like 2% of the world.
Well, we could talk about that because now people just get to make up their times. So now you just get to like official.
That's your segment later, Carl.
Yeah. Okay, we'll hold on to that. Yeah, we'll hold on to that. So actually what happened was I was in Nice and he knew me from Kent, and we were just like talking about what we were doing next. We both happened to be going to Paris with our wives after. I was like, dude, we should get a beer or a coffee because we both like craft coffee and craft beer. I'm thinking there's no way Rich Ryan's going to take me up on this. Sure enough, he texted me like on the Thursday we were in Paris, and he was like, hey, my wife and I are doing this. If you guys want to come along. We wound up hanging out with them for like 4 hours. They were great. We became friends. I went to the camp, and then he called me one day, and the way he set it up was he made it sound like me and him were going to do a Hyrox show. And then it came to it. And then he was like, oh, no. This is all you. He's like, I've got too much stuff going on. This is all you. And so, yeah, so the rest is history. So a little bit of, it all started with coaching. And then now I would say that we're friends. He might not say we're friends because he's a Philly guy, but I'm a Midwest guy. So we're friends.
Well, listen, congratulations on that. And I think that's a good lesson in shoot your shot. If you listen, I say it all the time. It's one of my dad's favorite phrases. You don't ask, you don't get. So you never know what's going to happen if you don't throw your shot out there.
Also, just like all these people are on Instagram. Like, it was actually funny. We were sitting at camp and Meg Jacoby was like, how do you know this much stuff about me? And I was like, I mean, to be fair, Meg, you do treat Instagram as a diary. So like anyone who follows you on Instagram, like, is going to know these things, you know?
When you went to this camp, did they write your number on your arm?
It was a blood pact. It's a very secretive thing. Luca, he's a part of the Italian mob. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. There's all kinds of stuff that we do there at camp that we can't talk about on the record. So,
well, I was
What
making
happened at band camp stays at band camp.
That's right.
I was making a different reference, which I was so thrilled that a friend that shall remain nameless unless he or she wants to put in the chat that they did it, sent me this beautiful Hyrox bracelet with their time on it, and I was like, oh, so that's really smart.
Is this like Taylor? Is this like Taylor Swift like friendship bracelets, but for Hyrox?
Well, it's just, you get a silver for participant and whatever the fuck you get. But
Yeah.
the first time I saw it on the arm, I go, okay.
We can't
so
see it. If you're showing it to us, we can't see it.
That's where my people were branded with names with numbers many years ago. It's really uncool, especially because they're a German company. Why do they do this? It's still not cool. And
I'm confused because I saw you made a post that looked like you got a bracelet with the time on it, and I was like, oh, this is a step forward. And then I did 2 races this weekend, and I'm wearing a crew neck, so you can't see. I still have black Sharpie on both arms, and today the doctor was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine.
Well, that's what I was saying. I thought they realized, like, oh, this is a lot smarter. Let's write it on the wristband instead. But they did not. I got there and the girl says, let me see your arm. And she did it. Mine came off already.
Wristbands are expensive. We cannot be just giving wristbands out to everybody. You got to
except for Dave, they're giving you wristbands to get into the venue, so they could get them.
No. If we cut back on those wristbands, we can save a pretty penny.
So, I actually thought so. I want to start before we get into lots of our. Thanks for all the times coming in. By the way, people are going bananas with these time things. Good job, people.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but people like to race Hyrox.
And they definitely like to race. They definitely like to race for free.
Yes, and they like free shit.
Yeah. I'm also an ambassador, and the amount of people that reach out to me like, "Hey, can you hook me up?" And I'm like, "No." No. If I hooked everybody up, no.
Well, the first thing is in this Hyrox UK group, or maybe it's the main Hyrox group. Rox tickets are one of those Rox people always puts like, hey guys, what do we like about this race and what do we not like? And they always get like 100 responses. And I knew I wouldn't get that many on our on a Instagram post, but I still did it because you get people that might not normally comment. You might see something you didn't even think of. And so, I asked for it. And so I want to read a couple of these comments before we get into the stuff that we liked and didn't like and the races and all that fun stuff. So this is Mike Boudet, who's been around OCR a long time. He says, first Hyrox, the scale, professionalism, and atmosphere were incredible. Good call jumping in the space early. Definitely tough and a good ego check to go from one of the fittest 50-plus guys at my office to back of the pack 50-plus guy at an event like this. How were there so many fit people in one place? So like, yeah, right? Like it's a good ego check if you think you're a pretty fit athlete. This was an interesting one. Mary wrote, having the pro men storm the field as if storming the Capitol or storming the floor at the end of a basketball game. The pro men storm the field while the open men are out there flat out sucked. Having start times at bedtime, also not ideal. More on that later. Should have made this a 2-day event or capped the number of participants. Also hiring judges from want ads.
Tough.
I just haven't heard the phrase want ads in a long time. Some of them were standing around playing with phones and not watching or counting. Hyrox, you can do better. So can we touch on that? We'll get to why there wasn't a 2-day event, but what do they should the women go earlier, or what is she saying there? Like, what's the problem?
Well, see, the interesting thing about that is actually I was actually talking to some of the guys about this on Saturday. I now have a different perspective because I've raced a few men's pro, and I used to complain about the time, but I raced mixed doubles for the first time, and the course was a log jam the entire time. And I think I've taken for granted the fact that the benefit of going at the end of the day is there are not a lot of people on the course. Now, the dudes that are on the course, they are big, and they are fast. So storming is definitely an accurate description of what happens, but that's just a weird complaint to me because it is not as busy on the course those dudes went off. The first men's pro wave went off at 7:30, which means the first men's doubles pro wave went off at like 7:10. There was not nearly as, Matt, you were there all day. There was not nearly as many people on the course at 7:00 as there was at 3 when we were peak women's open, women's doubles. You couldn't even get across the freaking, am I allowed to cuss on the show? You couldn't even get across you couldn't even get across the fucking crosswalk for like 30 to 45 minutes. Like, it was absurd.
Yeah, it was that New York setup, which they wisely figured out, which is they turned the track into a 2-lane, a 4-lane thing.
And that was smart. It just wasn't a big enough opening.
Yeah, they turn it. That's what she said. They turn it on and off, right? Like a valve system. They did that in New York. New York was worse though. New York was worse. But anyway,
the crossing at New York was a cool idea, but it didn't work because people don't listen.
They were following more orders, and they also figured out the second funnel system where they just in New York they never did. It was just So
I want to say something about what that lady said. We look at it from this perspective of the elites and going out like that, but some of these women, especially in that scenario where they're out there and they're running their race, and then it literally feels to them like just this wave of bulls running at them, and it's intimidating for them. And they're obviously not the fastest people out there, so when they have that happen for them, it really gets under their skin, and it frightens them. I've even had my wife before tell me Megita ran by her one time at an event, and she could feel the wind go by as he brushed past her, because it's intimidating for him. And it might not seem like a real issue, but the way they stagger the waves is becoming an issue for people with the congestion.
This might get me canceled. So
sweet.
I'm gonna preface that by saying this. It is an interesting choice to take the men's pro, which is the most competitive track, along women's pro, right after women's open doubles, which is probably on average the least competitive track. So I do agree with that. That is a choice that they seem to be making. It also doesn't make sense to me that they go men's doubles, men's open, men's pro, which is one set of weights, then go to the lighter weights and then go back to the heavier weights. It just seems like it would probably be best served to start with the heaviest weights and just take plates off throughout the day. But I think that's above my pay grade.
I think they used to. I'd have to go back and look. I was talking to Jack and some other people about trying to remember the first Chicago race we did in 2020. And I think the last race was at 3:30, right? I think. And I did it. And I did a very empty course, but it was.
You were also dealing with 700 people as opposed
to less than that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so crazy about it.
Right.
But I'm saying, okay, yeah. All right. So I want to read a couple.
I still think, like Matt says, send the faster people first, and then work your way down. And when it's a non-major, you're not worried about a stream and people watching and everything. You don't have to worry about the crowd as much because your elites can be spread out.
Yeah, and Matt B. Davis and I got shut down on that anyway. We asked if we could stream.
Also,
and I was told that there was a global policy to not let non-Hyrox employees on the course. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to air a couple grievances. Robin Arzon, who is a badass and the face of Peloton, I get it. Her husband was allowed on the course to videotape what was going on in the women's open weight. So to tell me that there's a global blanket policy against streaming and content on the course when there is somebody else who's not Hyrox affiliated at all, come on.
They just say that when Matt shows up so that they can shut him out.
Well, this proves it's not just me, though, which is nice.
Yeah. It's the name. It's Matt. Anybody named Matt, they shut you guys out. That's it. Can't go.
All right, here's Ruben Allen. Traveled over from the UK for this and wasn't disappointed. Excellent venue and was run like a well-oiled machine. At the end of my race, I was disappointed to find my time had disappeared, but the staff and one lady in particular was most helpful. And after a wait, they found my timing chip and rectified the situation. Where venues in the UK had failed with busy traffic from spectators, this was handled well, and racers were diverted to a different lane. So this person had compared us to their busier races and said we did a great job. So way to go.
I think we've established this tons of times. This Navy Pier is a great venue. It's awesome. It's a fantastic place. It's very large, so that's easier to accommodate higher traffic. So it's not a surprise because I do understand that some of the venues in the UK are on a smaller scale, so they're going to get more congested. So that makes perfect sense.
This had, I feel like this can't be right. We got the Chicago numbers up, Brendan, if you're still watching. It says 4,300. I thought for sure there were 5,000 at that place.
They said 50. They said 5,300 on the day.
Well, they lie. They talk about signups. We talk about actual finishers. Chicago last year was at this time was only 2,000. Isn't that hilarious? Last year was 1988, so less than half, and it felt almost as busy last year. Kendall Rabowski, I was first in Pro Wave, came into sled pull, and there were no more sleds.
Mm-hmm.
Kendall, actually, I met Kendall on. We're gonna wind up jumping ahead here, and I don't mean to, but I met Kendall on the weekend. Kendall is one of the people who showed up during the wall ball fiasco, and I mean, God bless her because she just did what she should have done, which is just start wall balling. But there wasn't a judge for a little bit.
My favorite story came from Emmy Cross, who was so angry she forgot that the way she says wall balls is fucking hilarious to me.
Wobbles.
Wobbles. She's like, Matt, I got to the wobbles. No one was there. I started my wobbles. I got to 30. The woman had turned up somewhere in between, and I turned around and said, how many? And she said 23. And I said 30 because there was no way I was doing any extra wobbles. And she was so mad I couldn't even smile. So let's get to that. We are jumping around a bit, but let's get back to that. But I want to give Matt his due because I hadn't even met Matt more than 5 seconds. And the thing that came screaming out of Matt's body multiple times was, stop saying times matter. So welcome to a new segment called Stop Saying Times Matter with Matt Mason. Lay it on us, Matt.
I mean, I'm probably going to wind up getting canceled by Hyrox by the end of this.
Listen.
I just think like
you might lose your magic ambassador code.
Yeah, they might pull it. I mean, I think for me, like, I think first and foremost, it starts by like, I love this sport. I really do. Like, it's a niche sport. I'm all the way in. I've got a podcast on it. I'm an ambassador for it. I've got a ton of people to sign up for it. I had a ton of people race their first race this weekend. I care about the sport. I also care. I do care about the piece that's for everybody, but I also am a fan of the sport. And so I care about the elite side of things too. I am a fan of these people. I like watching their training. I like watching them race. I understand that a lot of people are going to start tuning me out because I'm aligned with Race Brain and Irmer, although my boy just put up a time and told everybody to shut the hell up. So there is that. But time, we cannot keep saying that times matter. So I'm just going to give it from my perspective. So I was there for the women's pro race. Shout out Jennifer Thompson. That race was incredible. I was one of the people that literally when she got to the sled push, I was like, who is this woman in sweatpants and alpha flies? There's no way that this is going to go well. Mark Howell looked at me and goes, dude, she's a sleeper. Watch out. She took off like a bat out of hell on the sled push and she was gone. That race was hers. It was amazing. Anyway, I went to the wall balls because she was done with this finish. I get to the wall balls and all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell is going on? There is a group, like a bunch of groups of doubles just like sitting off on the side. And it dawned on me because I remember Dave saying this about Toronto. I was like, oh my God, this is the corral. And I'm looking, they don't have enough judges. So they're putting people into a corral that they said has timing chips. There was no timing chips in sight. I went and looked. There was no timing chips. So they're pulling all these women in. Last year, I did judge the Elite 15 Chicago race. So I know Yusuf, or at least I thought he knew me. I now realize he had no idea who this man was that ran up to him on the day of. But I had a bunch of people. Shout out to the above average Hyroxers who Matt B. Davis met on Saturday night. I'm in this group of people. We're all Hyrox super fans. We all compete. We're just sitting right there in the bleachers. I flag Yusuf down. I'm like, hey, man, you don't have enough judges. I've got 10 people right here that have all competed today. We will help judge. I was like, your women's pros are coming in. He goes, they're not coming in. I was like, they just said on the last about to have a problem because these women are running for the elite 15 times. They are coming in. You don't have enough judges. He's like, I'm going to figure out it's going to be fine. So I was like, okay, fine. I did my piece. I said that I was going to help. They don't want my help. That's fine. I go back to the stands. Jennifer comes in. Maria comes in. Kat Fossbender comes in. I don't remember who got fourth. Yeah, Brooklyn comes in. Like, these people are coming in. I have a picture. This is not the athlete's fault. So I just want to be very clear. If any of the athletes are listening, I'm not blaming you whatsoever. I have a picture of some of the elite women wall balling with no judges by them. No judges by them. So while they can, but how are we going to continue to say that time is the best way to do this when we don't have the right amount of judges, right? Sometimes we don't have the right plates out. There's rumors that I have confirmed that we didn't always have the right wall balls out for men's pro in Toronto. We had the wrong wall balls on course. Like, we had Melody Barong, who I know down from Team Reach in Knoxville. They gave her the wrong sandbag. She was women's open and she got the women's pro sandbag. Like, all I'm saying is this stuff happens more frequently than what they're willing to admit. And this could get me canceled, but we have to stop pretending like time matters and again, I'm not even blaming Yusuf in this moment. These are volunteer judges. We're getting what we get for volunteers. But when we are going to say that time matters and we can't guarantee that we have the right amount of judges, we can't guarantee that we have the right weights out, which, by the way, center like the 9 and the 6 on a KG, a white on a black ball, that one of them needs to be a different color. That's half the problem. So, like, let's stop saying that. Like, let's stop saying that times matter. Like, we have to stop saying times matter because they don't. They don't. Like, I'm gonna take the athlete side on this. I'm sure all of those women did 100 wall balls because they have integrity. I'm sure that they did. But was the rep standard upheld for all 100? I can't tell you that it was because we didn't have judges on all of them. I have a picture of it. So anyone who comes at me and says that's not true, I have a picture.
We had this happen to us. We were yelling at our judge for half of our battle in New York. Was it New York? I get them all confused now. Anaheim, where Matt Halfhill had the wrong ball. We couldn't tell it was the 6 and what was the 9. I jokingly posted, I cut out pictures from them and circled and put them next to each other, and you literally could not tell which one was which. I want to say, if you're an athlete, we say don't argue with judges, right? That's kind of our, like, what we try to say. But it's like, how do we say that? Like, for example, start counting your wall balls. And if no one was there, you give them the number. If they tell you 23, go, no, I counted 30. What else are we supposed to do? Go ahead, Dave. You wanted to say something.
Oh, I just want to welcome Matt to the party. I mean, I've been singing this song for a long time, right? Like, it is what it is. And that's why I will honestly say, I think the first time I said it was as soon as they started the Elite 15 and they're going by times. And I said, to qualify for the majors, this is silly. What we need is just a straight up open. When you get to the majors, you go there, anybody can do it. You want to take your time so you can organize the first wave, great, go ahead. But anybody coming from further behind, they can win too. It is the only fair way to do it. It is super simple. It is completely unbiased, and they're going to prove it because that's how the doubles are being done this year. And you're going to see how easy it works. Every event, top 3 go. If the top 3 are qualified, there's a roll down. It's super simple. And that's the way it should be every time. There'll be no more controversy over fast and slow courses. If the sleds are a little bit off from one venue to the other, it won't freaking matter. Like I said, I've been singing this song.
It's such low hanging fruit. Like, it's such low hanging fruit.
And
like, you're getting grilled. You're getting grilled for putting out these times. Yeah. Like, for these and people will stop talking about times. The only people who will track times are athletes who are racing you versus you, who want to see if they're getting better. Like, that's the only people who will now care about times.
Now, going to the holding pen, the corral, when you said you couldn't see any chips there, the way that thing works is there's timing mats under the mat. So when they get in there, it clips, it reacts their chips. And when
you say that. Here's my next hot take.
I've seen it.
I believe you. But this is what happened. I'm also understanding
it doesn't work.
This is what happened in Chicago. Multiple people who I know that got caught up in the corral were told, keep track of your own time and tell them at the end. And here's the problem with that. This is why times don't matter. This is why time, exactly. This is why times don't matter. Because here's the thing. not only do we care about the elites, but there is now a level of allure of saying that you qualified for Hyrox World Championships in age group. People care about that. People are cherry picking races. People are trying to find their way in, right? And like, again, although I want to believe in the good of people, if you put me in a corral, first off, there's two things wrong with that. You just now came out of the hardest station into the hardest run, and now you get 4 to 5 minutes to flush the lactic from your legs before you get to pick up a wool bull and start going again. That's not fair. Like, that's not fair. And then the second thing is you get to keep track of your time. And I got it. This for the first time. I should have sent this screenshot to Matt before I started. I got an email last night. This is the first time this has ever happened. Is an email from Hyrox asking me if I would like to, or let's see, where is it at? Oh, here it is. If I have any issues with my time, I can submit an official form to have my time be adjusted, and they will review it within 2 to 3 business days. So again, like, what does that even mean? Like now we get to say, I was in that corral for, like you said,
all right,
9 minutes.
All right, listen, I'm going to let you guys, I talked about this on a podcast you're going to hear later, but speaking of times, I'm going to tell you what happened with my team. We're going to jump to my team relay. And as I've posted, I've been up and down. This was essentially my flu game. Matt Kemp and I we both had our flu game. Go Google Jordan flu game for those of you that are too young to remember what that's about or know what that is. We were doing our relay. Really looking forward to it. Brendan King showed up. He's right here right now in the comments. He works here on the HFM team doing our stats. He's an awesome dude. And we're all cheering each other on. We're going in and out of the corral there. We're looking at splits. And Brendan's times didn't show up. And I know Brendan, he's a detail guy. In my mind, I'm like, there's no way he's not wearing his fucking chip. I know he's got it on. I see him and I go, Brendan, where's your chip? He's like, on my wrist. I go, okay, you have to put it on your ankle. Didn't they tell you that? He goes, no, they just said put it on. I go, you'd think it would still show up, but it didn't. But I go and I show up, right? And so it's like, okay, from the second time on, they're showing up, right? So it's not a big deal. We cross the line, right? And there's our time on the big board. So it clearly worked. Our official time, 104 and change, right? Not minus his first time. Like that was our time. Okay. And then it's not showing up on the big board afterwards. And we're like, oh, no big deal. It's because he forgot to put it on his ankle. So they didn't. So it was fucking literally 11 o'clock at night. And
it was so late.
Scott
we're doing beer miles.
Scott Longley was going to go and he couldn't find the guy. So Joe went because he had to go back, take care of his kids. Joe is still hanging out. Joe Martello, also on the team. He goes and explain what happened. And they go, oh, he wore his thing on the wrist his first time. Your entire time is disqualified. There is no record that we did the race. There is no record of my amazing farmer's carry unbroken that I'm so proud of. There's no sled time for me to compare my other sled times to. Now we screenshot it, so I found out, thank God. But how silly is that? If someone is competing for a top 3 fucking overall time or an age group time, and they're not wearing it for any part, it's like, sorry, we told you to wear it on your ankle. We tell you in the corral as well. That's on you. For everybody else in the world, if they fuck up, try to work with them to give them a good experience, right? Like you want them to have a time and a good experience. So it's like, okay, fine. What's your time? What does your watch say? Cool. Again, they're not breaking world records. In this case, in a team, you have every other point of data, including the second time he went, which was for his wool bulls. So you know we did the race, and that was their decision. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you accidentally do that, do not say you put it on your wrist. Lie. Say, I guess my chip didn't work because I have my chip and I wore it on my ankle, and that's what happened. Do you guys agree? And folks at home, do you agree?
Matt, let me jump in and say you're a downright dirty cheater and you got what you deserve. Follow the rules, man. No, yeah, it's harsh. When you have a full time right from start to beginning in a relay, it does seem a little silly. There should be a little cooperation. And like Matt just got an email saying if you have a problem with your time.
Imagine 4 guys though, like from their office. Yeah, so that's that happened to, and they're never coming back. They're like, fuck you, Hyrox.
But like Matt got an email saying if you have a problem with your time, let us know. We'll remedy. We'll look into it. and then you guys have a problem on site, and you're like, here's our evidence that we actually did it, and we're gonna look at you and go, yeah.
And also, why does it
Thanks for your
matter?
money.
We're talking about a relay. There's not even a world spot on the line. So like, just give them the time.
Listen, you get
Give 'em the time.
there's flags for it, which we wouldn't have won. We were 7th out of 16, right? All of that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
No, that's my point.
customer.
Like, yeah, I'm on your side on this because, like, in this case, it's not taking a world spot. It's not taking a podium from anyone. What's the harm in it? It's a bad experience. Like, I think it's weird because they are an event company, but it's just like, I feel for these people because I think they get overloaded during the day because they just don't have enough staff. That's part of the problem. And they're putting on these like massive events. But like, you're right. Like that could easily leave a bad taste in your buddy's mouth and he doesn't want to do it again. I hope he does, but like.
But I'm saying, imagine it's another team of 4 guys from their office and the exact same thing happened. And none of them get to show that they did a time. None of them. They'd be like, why would I come back to this place? And it's the end of the day. It's like it's the end of the day. Sure. What was your time?
I'm never racing relay again. That's too late. It's too late.
Dude, well, so I signed up for Vegas. I'm going to Vegas, and we were going to do a relay. And as I've realized what times the relay are going to be, I'm like, nah, no, forget it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stay there that late and do that. Especially if I'm going on a holiday race thing.
Well, with a multi-day, you'd think they wouldn't have to, though.
Forget that.
With a multi-day, you'd think they wouldn't have to do them as late, right? Yeah, like they could do it at 5 instead of 9. I haven't seen the time breakdowns yet for that day. But my point is that, again, when it happens with a regular person and they're just like, I have no times to show at all except for my watch, right? Even that's a tougher sell than literally 16 points or 16 out of the 18 points of data. Whatever it is. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and there's there have been elites in the past who have raced without a chip and then they've figured it out at the end. Like there are elites. You can go look at their record. It shows times and there's no splits because they didn't race with a chip. So it's just like, I mean, I get it. On the one hand, like we are talking about the elites versus the average. They don't want to have to do this for 100 people or 200 people or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a bad experience.
Well, a lot of the problems we just listed come down to the same cause, and that's overselling and understaffed. You have too many people going through the race and you're not equipped to handle it. So you either have to have more staff to be able to handle it, which means paying said staff. You can't rely on that many volunteers. That's been proven time and time again. So you need to pay more staff, or you need to cut back on the amount of racers.
A corral should never happen if times matter. I will die on that hill. A fucking corral should never happen if times matter. No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't even be in existence.
It should not even be an option. We're talking about time-based sport to get into a world which people covet. You cannot put them in a corral. You can't do it.
No,
you can't do it.
It's an absolute big mistake.
Well, I think since we're talking about all of this stuff, I think it's time to bring up the topic most people are here for: burpee broad jumps.
To win a free Hyrox code? Is that why you're here?
Go ahead and plug free Hyrox code while I find said video.
If you're listening,
guess Ugly Dave's Goofy Games PFT time.
Goofy Games PFT time. That's right. My PFT while wearing a 20-pound vest and looking stellar doing so. Guess it in the comments. Closest person wins a free Hyrox race in North America. And Matt said he'll race you there.
That's right. I think this burpee broad jump conversation will be actually interesting because, as I said, I have actually a past in judging some of these elite races, and Dave also is obviously now the head judge for DECA and has judged Hyrox in the past. So
is that still true? Are you still the head judge for DECA?
Delta. Hell yeah.
You don't even
fix my flights, Dave?
Can you get me an upgrade?
Yes. I am still the head judge.
Well, so what I'm going to do is share this video of Rich Ryan, who you've just explained. Rich Ryan.
Okay.
Who Matt's just explained his relationship to. I have a personal relationship with Rich. I consider him a friend.
Dave, you have to be devil's advocate here because
I was smashed the fuck out of Rich.
and so my first thought, honestly, was these don't look bad. And then I said, okay, Matt, try to remove yourself from this because you certainly jump on like other people. And are you biased because you like Rich, right? when a random person, or before I knew Sean Noble or these other people, like, who the fuck is this guy? Right? So I didn't think they were that bad. It has since been shown to me why it could be bad, but it happens kind of quickly. And I kind of can't tell. I'm also going to show you the other top 5 gentlemen, and we're going to see the difference. So Dave, you're the most stickler of the guys. Let's have a look at this. I'm going to airdrop these videos.
Dave's so ready.
Chuck some nuts, baby.
Dave's like Eminem right now, about to drop bombs on Rich Ryan. 54 what?
All right. Well, I just want to say that we've actually just dropped. We had 50 viewers. We never hit 50 live concurrent. Congratulations, Dave. Way to go, us. The argument which many of you will make, which I will immediately discount, even Rich himself made this to me personally, was, well, Christian was right there and he didn't say anything. The judge was right there, didn't correct me, doesn't mean you did good reps. We've said that for everything else. We always say that with wall balls, with lunges. So it's like, oh, the president of Hyrox is there. It must have been fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. Also there was the ginger. He was the judge. And if he's on this chat, he can say something if he wants. He said some stuff to me personally, but I don't know if I can share that yet. So, I forgot how hard this is for me. StreamYard makes it weird to stream videos. Hang on.
It's odd as it's kind of in their name. You would think streaming would be.
That when you share it's easy to share a screen. It's harder to share a file. Just hang on a second. Fuck me. Or I did it wrong the last time. Present. All right, here we go. Jesus Christ, that's loud. All right, that's not him.
Grayson and Colin. Yeah, this is Grayson and Colin. But
we look at Grayson. Look at Grayson. Those are good reps.
So
no, they're not. Actually,
they're the same. They're the same to me.
No, they're not. Watch his right foot.
It's slightly staggered.
So you're supposed to put your feet where your hands are, right? Is that the rule?
You're supposed to put your hand within what they say in the rules is within a foot of your foot placement.
The starting position, I've got the rule book up right now. The starting position is in the upright position, hands placed near feet, at most 1 foot length away. They cannot move forward.
Yeah.
And then they must, although it is a little bit, here it is. Feet cannot pass the previously placed position. So 1 foot, you can stagger, but it has to be like this is going to sound weird. You can't have the trail foot can't go in.
So yeah,
but that's what people are like. That's effectively what's happening right here. The trail foot is overtaking.
But look at Colin. His hands go forward, right?
So you got to watch. Yep,
his feet are already back. It's impossible to put your hand where your fucking foot is, right?
No. It's
well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I will say this.
We're gonna get Rich up. Go ahead and talk. I'm gonna find Rich's while you're doing.
Why we should potentially not do wall. I think Davis made a similar argument for why we shouldn't necessarily use wall balls. The problem judging this live is this is a dynamic movement. There are a lot of these guys are moving fast. Like, I think that's the thing that people don't always understand is like the elites burpee broad jump so much faster than the average person. Like the hunter hop is tough to judge because of how fast he's moving. His hands are moving, his hips are moving, his feet are moving. It is what point of contact are you going to look at? Like this in real time, it happens very, very quick. It is hard to judge this, which, but I don't think I also don't know that.
Okay.
Here's your boy.
So I'm guessing that the argument on Rich is that his hands are moving again.
It's the hunter hop. It's the hunter hop. Like if you watch when he goes and puts his hands down there, right there, stop there. Hold it right there, Matt. Hold it right there. We're doing the telestrator. If I could circle things, I would. If he dropped his hands right where they are, look where his feet are. They're, say, 8 inches behind the white line. Would that be a fair estimate? Somewhere around there? If he puts his hands down right where they are, right by that white line, he's fine. Now let it go and watch where his hands go.
But let's see where his hands actually touch. But look where his hands actually touch the ground.
Almost a half meter in front of where they should have been.
Which could be within the rules of a foot.
So it's almost like he's touching his toes and then leaping. Is that
correct.
what
This was something that Hunter used to do, and he started getting called for a lot.
And they got hammered for it in the elite race. I can't remember which one it was. No, it might have been Stockholm.
Now, for those thinking like that doesn't really matter, let's just say for argument's sake, he gains, I don't know, a quarter meter, 25 centimeters with each burpee. Over 80 meters, say, what do you say, Matt? 50 burpees seems about right for the 80 meters.
It's like for these guys, it's like 35 to 40.
Okay, even so you're a quarter meter per burpee, right? So then you times that by 30, right? So every burpee you're gaining a meter, right? By the time you're end, like I said, I was going on the premise of about 50 burpees. You would gain 12 and a half meters. So even drop that down to 30. Let's just say he gains 8 meters. That's still 8 meters of burpees. So it might seem like a little thing, but it adds up huge. Now, if you look here, you do see Christian pointing, and I don't see where this video stops, where Matt's video stops. I'm going to assume that they changed this, that they got on it, because you see Christian pointing right at it. So I'm assuming,
and he did. His form does change. So he probably got a warning, and he checked it.
All right, we're gonna need. I'm gonna need the Ginger to chime in here because he did talk to me about some stuff, and I said let's do an interview maybe later, but I want to get him to chime on the live.
So Matt, when we were looking back, when you saw Grayson's, did you thought his were no reps because of the staggered feet?
Okay, so this is where the judgment call comes in, right? Like there's not really an argument because we're talking about lawyers here. Like there's the letter of the law, right? Like there's the letter of the law. I don't think it's that significant of a game.
Hang on. Brendan needs to speak to this. Brendan, say more about this. Brendan actually pointed it out.
So he pointed it to Christian.
Yes.
Yeah, twice.
Maybe Christian was thinking about what he was going to have for dinner that night. I don't know. I've got Collins as well. If we want to look at one more athlete,
all right,
one more elite athlete.
Let Matt finish about what he was talking about with Grayson.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know that I would have called it because I don't feel like it's egregious. Like, I mean, I guess technically, per the letter of the law, they like can't do it. But I think here's the issue that they have is like, this is a dynamic movement. They have made it so strict and specific. Like there's also like a little bit of like in real time for as fast as these reps are happening, these guys and girls would have to slow down so much to go hand, foot, step up, go, right? These people are at the peak of the sport trying to shave as much time as they're going fast. I think like if you want perfect reps, we're just going to have slower races, which is fine. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing. Like there's people that are going to argue like that's the true thing. I just think that like the burpee broad jump used to be a forearm's length. And then because there were really bad burpee broad jumps, people diving forward, like that's the thing that I think should absolutely be outlawed and called. If you're diving forward, you're getting more of an advantage than like when you place your hands down and go to a push-up position and readjust them, you're not gaining as much ground as you are if you just like fall forward with your full front half. Like, I think that this is something that people just like, yeah. And like, again, can I go do some and
you guys can tell me if these are good or not?
Yeah. But if you do them slow, they're going to be great.
No, I want to try to do that because I've never done it the way he's doing it. That to me it does look a lot faster now that
it is faster, but also faster. I will say this while he's doing this, just for everyone watching.
I just hope he doesn't hurt himself.
This taxes you so much cardiovascularly. This is awesome.
Yes, so he's going down. I have dialed 9 and 1. I'm ready to hit the next one.
When he goes down, he actually cheats it out like this.
Yes.
No, he's not dropping his hands aren't moving until his whole body's going down. He's not falling forward.
I think
what he's doing is
let him keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got his earpiece out. But yeah, what he's doing, he puts his hands down, and then as he drops his feet back, his hands slide forward.
And also, I don't think this is the hill to die on because He literally got a warning, which is what it says in the rule book. And after he got a warning, he adjusted his form, which is what we want. Like, we're not trying to. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you. I'm arguing with all the people in Matt B. Davis's DMs. Like, he got a warning, which is what's supposed to happen, and he changed his form.
Yeah, like I'm not hanging Rich out to dry. Like, what he was doing his burpees. He was going.
Turn your thing, Brendan.
And he, I don't know what was happening because all I have is that one little clip. But it looked to me like he was going to get his warning or get stuff. I do believe he should have got a 5-meter penalty as per the rules. But I mean, they didn't call it.
But he got a warning and then he adjusted it. So.
All right. Brendan was actually right there. He was a volunteer that day. Shout out, Brendan. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for volunteering, Brendan.
Thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, I told you I was there to make you proud, Dave.
Yeah, baby.
All right. So what break it down. You're seeing it and you go, hey, that's wrong.
Yeah, so moments before Rich arrived, they still had the men's pro doubles doing theirs. And they had one volunteer, and he was standing at the start line, and that was it. And these guys were just going for it. And there was probably 3 or 4. And again, not leading the pack. These were, guys that were just competing pro doubles. And Christian walks up, and I point to the volunteer, and I'm like, hey, they're not doing proper burpees. And he says to me, he goes, well, I don't care. I'm here for Rich. And I said, that's fine, but you have these volunteers not watching proper. So, if you're going to be watching Rich, there's 17, 25 other pros that are becoming, and you have one volunteer that's not watching. And so he looks at me and he goes, who? And I said, that doubles team right there. I said, these are pro men's doubles doing bad burpees. And he walks over to them and he watches, and they're literally like doing the falling forward push-up into a burpee.
Hell yeah. If you ain't cheating, you're not trying.
Like body length adjustment. And so then he walks over and he says, hey, your hands have to go here. And he calls the volunteer over and he says, they have to put their hands here. So those 4 or 6 teams continue going, and Christian walks back to the start, and that's when Rich shows up. And then he pulls the volunteer with him, and they're like walking side by side. And that's when Brian showed up as well. And so Brian kind of had 2nd and 3rd place, which was
Grayson and Colin.
No, they were 3-4. There was someone else.
Marcus. It was
Marcus. So he was following Marcus, and then Grayson and the other guy. And that's when you see the volunteer come back from Christian, and he kind of interrupts my feed. And I'm like trying to get around him because they were so neck and neck. I was like, this is the battle that we want to see right now, because Rich and the other guy were so far gone. And yeah, it was just like, but his thing was, I don't care about these. I'm here for someone else. I was like, yeah, but you have volunteers that are not caring very clearly. And so like I said, I followed him and I kept saying, I was like, he's fallen too far forward. He's fallen too far forward. And that's when they finally pointed out. And maybe they couldn't hear me. I don't know. It was very loud.
Which is why time shouldn't matter.
Yeah. But I was telling Matt too, the other thing that this screams is that you shouldn't have an island station. Like, no one could be over there. As a competitive athlete, that absolutely was your area to fudge as much as possible, because you had no accountability.
Yeah, go back to
there was no observation.
Got dropped because spectators got video of it. You could not, spectators could not see burpees. So but I don't think we should be doing that either. I'm not a fan of going back and adjusting based on tape.
But wait. So Sean Noble got caught on video taking a couple of steps 3 times. How much ground do you think he gained with those steps he took?
Well, how do we know he didn't take steps every time?
He maybe did, maybe didn't. How do we know Rich didn't take more distance on his burpees? I think maybe they should go back and video review and give Rich a penalty.
Well, and that's on me. Matt told me, why did you film?
You got to turn your
I don't
mic
know how
down
you do it in
bit.
Canada. I don't know how you do it in Canada, but Rich is from Philly. You might have someone at your doorstep if you go take a time.
I've been telling Rich we can spar. We can have a go around any day. But no, honestly, though, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a ridiculous notion. I said that before, and I have backed myself up with when I had to face that.
I also think in this scenario, because the judge is now in the chat, I still think the right thing happened. He caught it. He called them on it, gave him a warning, and Rich adjusted his form. So it's what do people want?
Yeah. All right. And I'm with you there. That the hanging Rich out to dry is not.
All right.
Not
we're gonna.
My point is they used the video replay once before. Yeah, we will. And and they used it before, and that was the Pandora's box we said they should never open. But they did. So theoretically, I can go back.
Dave forgets that I can mute you when I would like. We are now going to move on from this topic. We have a lot to talk about. I will now unmute you. Okay, great. So,
And then Matt said, no.
So listen, there's a lot of great that came out of this, including Rich's great performance, and I do want to get to that before we cover this.
It was an awesome day. It was amazing.
Before I gotta get my one more big negative out and a possible solution, because that's what I'm about. I'm about solutions. The global policy which you're referring to, Matt, in terms of no live feed. Once upon a time, for those that are newer to the sport, Graham and or a social media person for Hyrox would follow Hunter or whoever was in the lead. It's pretty simple. They're right there. Just pop that phone on with or without a gimbal. Don't even have to film the runs. Just do the stations. It's a real easy thing for this sport to do. They were like, guys, we're putting money into majors and world champs. We don't want to have a different product for that. Now, I would say no one cares. It's fine. But if that is your policy, we don't want to officially put anything out, then you could work with your friends in the media who are all on this call right now. Real simply, right? We put together a little letter, right? Race Brain, me, Dave, Hunter's team. Listen, whichever one of us is there and is willing to do it, can you give us a media pass to do it? We will stay out of the way. If we don't stay out of the way, you can take away our rights. But the people want it. Every single race that happens, I get messages. Where's the live feed? Where's the live feed? So why don't we put this little email together? What do you say, Matt? And that's our solution.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is Rich Ryan, put some respect on his name, is now the third fastest man in Hyrox history. And if you wanted to watch it, you had to follow at Matt Mason 1 and awkwardly like finagle your way through the crowds and awkwardly see the backs of heads of people. Like, it's a bad experience. Like, they talk about, they put so much time, effort, and energy into pumping these storylines. Like, yes, I am a homer. He is my boy. But the Rich Ryan storyline is a good one. Like, Europe hates him. Right? Like, Europe hates him. He talks trash. He's a media personality. He's an Elite 15 athlete. And he just dropped literally he's the third fastest man in Hyrox, and you can't even see it.
And listen, Graham did a nice job. Graham did catch it, and they made a nice little tribute video for him, and that's swell, and that's sweet. But so many more people would want to watch the whole performance when it happened, even afterwards. Oh, my God, did you hear he got a 54? Where can I see that? Well, you can't. So, yeah, we're not asking a lot. We're giving you a real easy, low bar. It's not yours. It's not your production. It's our production, or whoever one of us wants to throw up the live. Dude, more people were watching. Oh, fuck. More people were watching Maria Fetchik's husband's Instagram live because I didn't post soon enough that I was doing it. So I had 38 viewers. He had 45. And, you know, we couldn't get those 100 people together to watch in one place. So that's my solution.
And the reality is, how many people are actually going to go, like, and respect for my boy, how many people are actually going to go back and watch the Chicago 2023 non-major race? Not many. Like, if I'm rewatching races, like I'm watching like the majors and things like that, like people aren't going to come back and watch these races. So like the live is the best solution for it. I'm with you. Like I'm down. I'll sign my name to it. They're going to hate me after the show, but I'll sign it.
Great.
I think you should compose that email. We'll all sign it, and Hyrox will thoroughly enjoy ignoring it.
Yeah.
No. Listen, give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think
100%.
Okay.
The weird thing is, I get it. They want to protect their brand because they do have a crisp social media brand. But what Matt B. Davis is saying makes so much sense. It's not coming from the Hyrox brand. It's coming from Hybrid Fitness Media, or it's coming from Race Brain. Like, it doesn't tarnish the brand.
Define. You say okay. Define ignore. I don't think it'll get ignored. I think it'll get a reply. You say ignored. I have a good relationship with them.
Yeah, they might say
no. Bad relationship. It's just they're just going to say, okay, that's an idea, and move on.
Okay. Well, you just said ignore, like they weren't even going to respond to it. I think it'll get a response. Especially if we get Hunter involved. Like, kidding aside, I do think they really like Hunter, and
Yeah,
so
but the difference is it's not a global policy, because I guarantee if Here to Party Sports shows up at a race and they want to film Hunter, they're not going to tell Hunter no.
that's what I'm saying. So that's why we get Hunter. Well, that's
Yeah.
why we get Hunter involved. We get Hunter to be the Hulk Hogan to the
and that was my point of bringing it up, is Robin, she got to do it because she's famous. It's not a global policy. It's just, you don't want me to do it because I don't have a big enough following for it to matter to you.
Hunter can be the Hulk Hogan to the remember when the wrestlers tried to get a union, right?
You imagine Hunter just like ripping his shirt,
Right?
and just being like,
but Hogan blocked it. But now he gets to be the hero and be like, yes, let us all, because my people won't always be there. He used to have the kid Alex on roller skates, but whoever's there, the one of the four people, right? And then in Europe they can figure it out, UKHXR or whoever. That's a bad froze for you. You've been freezing on and off, by the way, Matt.
all right, let's see if I can do something about it.
Okay. While you're doing that, we want to talk about the amazing performance that was Rich Ryan, who not only got his way closer to the Elite 15, or is he actually officially in yet? I haven't done the math.
Well, yeah, his time is in the
He will be. I've done the math. He'll be in for, when it all is said and done, he'll be 56-12 for Vegas. He needs one more time to stay in for Glasgow, because Glasgow is March 14th and his DC. So he does need to race one more time to stay in, but he's in for Vegas.
So not only all of that, but only 3 other dudes have gone under 55, and they are Hunter McIntyre, multiple world champ, Alexander Ronkovic, recent world champ, and JK putting down some of the fastest times ever in the last couple years. So, Ugly Dave, what did you think of that performance?
I will be straight up honest. It shocked me. I was blown away. I did, I'm a fan of Rich. I'm a buddy of Rich. I did not think he had that time in, and I apologize. But I underestimated you, dude. Well done.
I didn't either. Matt was saying he's on pace for X, and I'm like, don't ever say that. It's way too early. And he said, no. He told me after the sleds he'd be fine. I think he's going to do it. And I was like, yeah. And I still didn't buy it until 2 stations later.
I was watching the clock and I was just like, wow, he's going really good. And it was just utterly impressive. It was far and away. It had to be the haircut. The haircut. it had to be. No, he looked so smooth, so solid, so composed, and cerebral. Like, he ran that race exactly as he planned. And I was blown away. It was awesome. Full credit.
How many cameras do you have set up, Matt? What is going on?
Just two. It's going back and forth between my laptop and my USB camera. I'll get this fixed.
All right. Brendan, do you want to quickly speak on his performance before I let you go?
On Rich's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was actually kind of fun. So the other thing I got to do, so I was one of the traffic guys that was moving the arrow so people could walk through. And during the pro race, as you guys spoke about earlier, I mean, it was crowded. Like, it was a crowded venue, pretty much start to finish. So I jumped the line. I did this for the women's pro too, because I was talking with Kilgore, and he was like, yeah, I don't know how they're like going to get out of here. And I went, well, I'm wearing a volunteer shirt. I could just walk out there and start waving people over. And so I did. And I did that for the men's pro too. I basically just got in the aisle and just when they started doing the countdown, I just stood there and moved everyone over. And people were like still coming at me. I was like, you guys are going to get ran over. And I was like, just move. And I understand that like they're trying, it's not able. And so like he comes shooting out of the gate on the first lap. I'm still trying to move people over because like these are on lap 5, 6, 7, 8. And these guys are still going to be doing a sub 6-minute mile. And so I'm like moving them over, and people are still getting upset. And I'm like, guys, there's a fast lane. It's clearly marked. They have these massive, like, welcome mat size stickers that say fast lane. And if people are worried about getting trampled or scared that, people are going to brush by them, if you're not running, a 350 or faster kilometer, move over. Like in trail running, we always say on your left. This needs to be on your right, because the left-hand people need to be out of the way. But yeah, as far as Rich, I hung out with him with you guys back in Anaheim last year. That's when I first met him. I work with him with all of his predictions and stuff for hybrid and fitness media. But it was cool to see him. He was super serious in the warm up. He was in his zone, and getting to stand by him during the relay too. Matt, you were doing your sled push, and he was standing right next to me, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, we're cheering on our guy. So yeah, no, it was stellar. Obviously, go America. Cool to see him do what he did. So very happy for him.
I knew it was over, or at least he was gonna do it. I didn't know 54 mid was gonna happen probably till after probably right around the row. But I knew he was gonna blow it up whenever, because we had talked about it. He had kind of told me what his plan was. And if you look historically, what happens is when he tries to body these sleds, Rich's strength is that he can run. Depending on, if we're just talking about a road race, there might not be a better runner in the elite field other than Pelayo than Rich. That's his strength, but he's not been able to access that after he hammers the sleds. He came off that sled push in 2:11. So he bodied that thing, got back on the course, ran a 3:42. We went back and looked at Madrid or whatever he had done, and like coming off the sleds, he ran like a 4:04 or something. So when he popped in a 3:42 off that sled push, I was like, oh, it's on. Then when he hit that sled pull, which he did in 2:40, he then went faster. He did 3:38. And then at that point, I knew it was a wrap, because if the sleds aren't going to slow him down, there's nothing. He's great at the back half, or at least he can hold it together. So if the sleds aren't going to slow him down, then the sky's the limit for him, because the dude can just flat out run.
Yeah, and for comparison, I have his same venue. So Chicago of last year, he ran a 58:48. So he shaved 4 minutes off the same venue. And I did. There's some rock zone setup stuff. I'm sure is a little bit different, but I mean, you're talking venue to venue. If times matter, venue to venue comparison, he shaved over 4 minutes. That's
the challenge is that Chicago race last year, he was in the elite field where there is no rock zone, because they run through.
They were in the grid. Yeah, so he did more in less.
So the question becomes why? Like, we know that Rich has always worked hard. We know he's always had a smart game plan. Why is it that this one was different and he was able to put it all together? Because I don't think it was a fast course. Like, it was a regular course. I don't think it was particularly slow or particularly fast.
No, it was a fair course.
His time is legit and good. So the question is, what was different? What in his... Yeah.
It's the indoor wall ball setup he has in his garage.
Yeah.
I don't know if Matt B. Davis would want me plugging someone else's show, but I mean, he did drop an episode today on RMR where he talked about how he got to the 54.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And like I said, it was thoroughly impressive. It just, the way he ran through was cerebral.
Yeah, fast. I mean, he was fast.
All right. Well, while Matt's gone away doing whatever Matt's doing, if you want to win
a great, free Hyrox, honestly though, it was. Oh yeah, go ahead, Dave.
All right, if you want to win a free Hyrox code, come in the comments. Guess my goofy games Hyrox PFT, ran a PFT with a vest on. Guess my time, and whoever gets closest wins a code. Matt's back.
Two other thoughts on that while Matt's getting unmuted because he muted himself. I will say this: like, I definitely agree with you. It's a fair course. Colin Stiefer ran within 1 second of his Chicago time from last year. Colin Stiefer did not run the Elite 15 last year. He ran the regular men's pro course, so he's within 1 second. Marcus Wallace, shout out Wisconsin, also had a great race, 20-second PR, but it wasn't like outrageous. So these are real pro athletes that we've seen put times very similar. So Rich dropped. I mean, I think that it's fair to say this is a legit 54 because everybody else was right within their normal time. Grayson Kilgore ran a great race.
Maria Fetchick right on pace with her stuff.
Yeah, Maria Fetchick. Everybody else was pretty even. So I think it definitely was a fair course.
Yeah, the only difference I noticed was like on the there was a lot of turnaround on the lunges, which you don't normally have. It's usually kind of like an out and back. This had four lengths.
The farmers
was yeah, exactly. And I felt, because when I first looked at it, I was like, wow, this is going to be fast because of the burpees. You know, there was basically no rock zone for burpees. There was no rock zone for I think it was 2 and 8. Like you literally came in and there you were. But yeah, completely agree. It was made up for on the lunges because you had to carry the bag around a corner, and if there was other people there, you had to go around them as well. Then you had an inside outside. So
Yeah,
it was a decent design.
All right, Brendan, we're gonna let you go, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
All right. No problem.
Take care, Brendan.
So I'm working here nearby my house because my children are all home and it's been crazy. And I brought my ring light in case it got dark, but these lights automatically came on. So this is beautiful. It's a fall night.
You look
I'm in a
great.
hoodie, right? This is awesome. So real quick, sometimes we do go around to the left.
clockwise versus counterclockwise.
Yeah.
Toronto we did.
Yeah, Toronto, we went left.
So why not always?
Dude, if you don't
That's a
know,
question
we're
for
not gonna
them.
tell you.
Yeah, that's gotta be a question for them.
Nobody knows. Who knows? No one knows.
Because it is on your left everywhere else in the world, right? Even in
Yes.
foreign languages, you ask like when you're on
Yeah.
a trail.
Nice,
So
Nice was the other way. Yeah.
why not?
Matt B. Davis is speechless by the Rich Ryan performance.
Deep thought.
Do we?
deep thought.
Well, I'm buddies with Rich, and I was so stoked for him, and I know that just for him personally, I was really happy, right? Just like knowing how badly he needed this. I mean, listen, he's on the Irmer team, right? So even in his own crew, he's got pressure. So
Yeah,
he's
I
the
would love
first
to see.
Oregon.
I'd also love to see registrations for RMR today. I'd love to see how many people are like, oh,
Ooh, how do I do that?
Win,
yeah, how do I do
win on
that?
Sunday, sell on Monday.
That's right, baby.
They had new uniforms. They were looking fresh.
Yeah, hilarious. On the
is-
Nick Bear podcast today, Kent made a joke. Obviously, it was recorded weeks ago, but Kent made a joke about how he typically is finishing wall balls before Rich even gets in, and can't say that anymore.
Wow. Yeah, go listen to that, everybody. Nick Bear podcast.
good.
Also,
It's a good
because
podcast.
Nick Bear will be racing this weekend, which we'll also
right.
get to. But are there any other men's performances we want to talk about before we get to the women? And I don't know what this means, Chase Stewart. Real ones were in before.
Marcus Wallace.
We're
Wallace.
already in. Got it. The real ones were already in our Miramar, he's saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha, Chase Stewart.
Yeah.
Marcus
Marcus
Wallace,
is gonna. Yeah, he just did himself well. So he was 57:33. His other fast time was 57:57. That's gonna put him right about 57:45, which right now for Vegas would put him right
It puts him
behind
in a
Bo.
good shot to get a roll down.
Yeah, he could get a roll down depending on how many of those Europeans come over. Although based on what we're seeing for Hong Kong, doesn't look like many people are going to give up these roll downs. So because there's only roll downs because the US dudes aren't going to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So the Europeans have proven that they'll travel. And even though I don't really love Vegas, everyone loves Vegas. So I'm sure that people will come.
But you could have a chance where some of them maybe qualify in Hong Kong, and that might be a few. If they qualify, they don't make the trip.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Did we think Isaac was going to do slightly better? Isaac has done better than this before, hasn't he? Has he gone sub 60
Isaac has
before?
been sub 60. This is a little slow for him. I know he would have liked to improve a bit more. But yeah, I guess it just wasn't his day. I mean, it's not terribly far off for him, but it is.
Isaac's PR was the last chance qualifier last year. He did a 59:38, so it's about a minute slower.
Yeah, so it's not staggering, but yeah, I'm sure little chat with him. I know he was hoping for a better performance.
All right.
Good race for Grayson. Great race by. I actually was talking to Marcus after the race, and I think the most impressive thing about Marcus is he actually kind of found himself in no man's land because Rich put it on everybody. Had about a 2-minute gap. It's actually really funny. There's a video. I think there's a Matt B. Davis video of Rich rowing, and he keeps looking. And I asked him later. I was like, "What were you looking for?" And he's like, "I thought they had to be behind me." So he shocked himself when he was 500 meters in, and then Marcus sits down. And then Marcus was 300 meters ahead of Grayson and Colin, who were kind of working together. So the fact that Marcus held on for a PR, despite the fact that he basically raced alone the back half, because Rich left Farmers before Marcus came in, and then Marcus finished Farmers before Colin and Grayson came in. So Rich had all the hype of everyone pushing him on and being the leader, but Marcus ran a really good race to hold on to that time. Let's talk about the ladies.
Let's talk about the ladies. Yeah, good job, Grace. It was only his second race. He raced in Anaheim, and he took, 2 minutes off? So good job, Grayson.
Yeah, Grayson's having a hell of a year.
And he's young, right? So, I mean, he's going to be here to stay for a while. Like, he's in his 20s, isn't he?
So the race starts off, and, we often see somebody come into and leave the ski erg first. And that's when I point out to people who are new, like that person, you won't need to see. Like Tommy will come over and ask me. Tommy, the announcer, will be like, "Hey, who is that person?" I'm just like, "Don't even worry about it." Like I said that for the men when it was.
Yeah, that dude that left the ski, and like Rich and Marcus both looked up, like, who is that? And we never saw that guy again.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy, if you know who you are and you're listening, let us know, because I was trying to figure out who you were in the standings. Like I was trying to pick like who did ski first. Maybe he left. Maybe he DQ'd. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he wore the fucking strap on his wrist and they DQ'd
Maybe
him. Who knows? But Jennifer, on the other hand, left the ski first, or maybe second.
I think second. She came in to push second.
Yeah. And then we were just all like Googling her and trying to figure it out. And it's funny because you talk about you said remember when you said, how do people know
sweatpants?
No, when people said how people know so much about you, and I did not know who Jennifer was, and we sat down to interview. She was like,
but Mark Howe knew. Mark Howe knew who she was.
Jennifer
called it early.
But when I sat down to interview Jennifer, which by the way you can't hear because I stupidly left my recording back at the hotel. More on that later. Anyway, she said, "Hey, are you feeling better?" And then I felt really bad because she knew who I was. I was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling better." Anyway, so she said, "I'm just a farm gal, but I have a massive, community behind me." And she said, "I trained for the back half of the race." I can't remember if that made it into the clip I made or not. But she said, "Yeah, I trained for the back half of this race, and I was not worried about, losing my lead."
Well, what was her previous time? Like a 110?
68.
68. So 108. So I mean, this performance was, it was a monstrous leap, right? Let's see what it looks like.
See, this is weird.
That's 111.
Mark said she raced Anaheim, unless I'm.
Well, I think sometimes they can miss a race here or there. Maybe she had
high result
differently or something. Maybe she had Jen Thompson that time.
Exactly.
Together.
Either way, this also proves, like, with what the other thing about Rich having a great race and Sir having a great race and it not just being some super fast course, is like when you put it together, and it goes well.
Yeah. So I mean, it's another full Marks run, like just super impressive. And again, I'm very interested with how Mark, and I'd love to talk to Mark about it, how he knew that this performance was coming, what he had seen. But yeah, like look at the levels there on the zones. She's right up there for everything. Like she was working. Dead silence.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing short of impressive. Like, she just seemed like she stayed consistent. Her runs were great. Like, she hammered the stations.
415 on the row. 415 on the row. That's impressive when you consider you got to run in, set up.
Especially how big the row was. Like the row was long.
Yeah. So you're losing a lot of time in transition there. And to get a 415, that's fantastic. Wall balls, what you get? 359?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like these are all.
She's got, you look at the other like top women, like there's time there that she could shave.
She had the top lunge time, 327.
Yeah. You're right about the wall balls. Like time to shave. Like what's Meg doing wall balls in like 314, 313 most times. Somewhere.
Yeah, it's like I think Meg and Lauren are like 310. Yeah, like 310 to 315.
Yeah. So, but that just shows room to improve, which again is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And then how are her runs?
And these are pretty good. I mean, burpees area of opportunity for her against the top women's probably going to be the runs.
Yeah. So she's almost
415, 412. Average. I mean, those top women run like 350 to 4. So there's like, a minute there.
Yeah. She definitely decreased that run time by about 15 seconds per kilometer.
Yeah.
but
Strong.
Consistent, which is the best part, right?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it was a very impressive race. So shout out to her. I don't think anyone's gonna say who's the woman in the sweatpants ever again. So
I think she got to roll. She needs to roll with it, man. That's got to be the gimmick now.
Just wear it every time.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
That's
to
like
be
the new
honest, it's super.
backpack.
I was just shocked because I was like, with how much I sweat. Like, are you kidding me? That'd be terrible.
And I was in
Super
another
impressive.
run that I like. Bridget Brown, seeing Bridget Brown back out there and getting a podium. Good for her. She's always a great person to watch. Just got the wheels.
Yeah, and I talked to her afterwards, and this wasn't even like 1,000% a race for her. It was kind of see where I'm at race. So
Yeah.
I think we'll see more from her soon as well.
Yeah, and shout out to Elena Rucachaz, who raced Mexico City a week ago at 7,200 feet and then came back and raced Chicago a week later. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess my question would be, I mean, Dave,
Oh,
have
wait,
you
Justin
talked to-
Rubin. I have to look up this guy. I have to look up Justin Rubin.
Tim Snee,
While he's
did he
looking-
have a good run too? I think Tim Snee was there too. That guy can haul.
While he's looking that up, Dave, I guess I'm curious from your perspective. You know Maria, right? Have you talked to her? Because she ran didn't she run like a 102 in Toronto?
Yeah. This race again, kind of much like Isaac. It actually did help her. It did bump up her.
It does help
average.
against. I think her other time was a 105. So
Yeah. So I mean, it bumped her up a little bit. I think she maybe gained a couple of spots. Maybe that might help her get a roll down, kind of similar to Marcus Wallace. Not the race she wanted to have, but still. And like I said to her when we were talking, small steps are still steps forward. So, short-term gain, little short-term win and, baby steps forward. But she, considering where she was and to where she's coming forward and she keeps improving, I think overall she'll walk away not thrilled, but content with it. I think it bumped her up maybe 2 or 3 spots on the board.
yeah, I mean the women's times are just
What
the
the
women's
fuck?
times are just.
Why is
getting
this
faster.
not working? I cannot find the fucking results.
Justin, if you're looking for Justin Rubin, he finished with a 104.27.
No, I want to
in
just
Chicago.
pull up the entire men's race, and I'm not being
okay.
able to do that. So I'm really annoyed. Let me take this off share while you guys continue to talk about that. What
So
do you guys?
that's still not a bad run for a guy who probably came out way too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who
Hold on.
cares? I'm saying like a lot of people come out.
That was 15th. It was 15th overall. So paid the price.
Right. I mean, a lot of people come out too hot. Like there's too hot, and then there's. I just knew if it was just like Rich in this race, or just Marcus, or anybody else, like just a guy, and I'd be like, okay, it's possible this guy might do something. But when he left that first, I'm like, well, there's no way he's as fast as all of these men. So anyway, I'm not going to bother with that. It's already 7, so we've been in it 90 minutes already. Or almost 90 minutes. Let's talk about Hong Kong before we wrap up.
All right.
And I'll pull up who's racing while you guys just start talking about it.
Yeah, so it should be exciting. I mean, we got Paleo is flying over for his first race, so that'll be a new addition in the men's side. Graham's going over. He obviously just missed. Graham was kind of a unfortunate recipient of the new system, despite the fact that the dude always finishes in the middle of the pack of every elite race he's in. Somehow was left out of Amsterdam because of the 2-time thing. Graham will be there. We're going to see Sandy for the first time, so that's going to be interesting. The women's side is definitely going to be different. Meg's not traveling, but Linda is. I haven't seen if was Viola on there.
I'm looking right now. And why is Meg? I thought Meg was going to do them all. Why is Meg not going? Do you know?
I don't know. She hasn't said publicly why she's not going. So
okay,
not sure.
I mean, I'm not trying to start anything. I just thought.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, whereas like
before the
like
season
Camila,
started, she said, "I'm definitely going to do them all." That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where Camila, I just met Camila made a post explaining why she wasn't going to Hong Kong. I haven't seen anything from. Wow, I haven't seen anything from Meg as to why she's not going.
No, it could be anything. It could be very simple, right? I don't think it's anything too massive, but like, for her to travel to Hong Kong for, I guess, greatest hopes would be to get the prize money and whatnot. But it's a big addition. Maybe it just interferes with her training. It doesn't fit in her calendar well, where she already got her qual. It gives her the room to make some other decisions, right? So
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, so we could have we're going to have there's a good shot that we have a completely different, well, it won't be completely different podium, because I would say in this field, Lauren Weeks is the odds on favorite by a mile, but we could have a completely different podium for 2 and 3 because Viola's going to be there. Linda's going to be there.
Joanna's going to be there.
Joanna's going to be there. So
Lauren and Kate, you've got, I mean, don't you think Viola, Linda, Joanna, Lauren, or Kate could all be third?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Kate Davey, I don't remember what it actually wound up shaking out to be after the adjustment, but at the time she was only the 4th woman ever to go under an hour. So legit.
You mean the race where they mismeasured it and then started it late and then did it again and then forgot to start the clock?
That's correct.
Does Ida have an outside shot to get in and contend for that podium as hot as she's been lately?
What's her best time?
I think didn't she recently run like a 103, something in that neck of the woods?
I'm gonna say no, and this is no disrespect to Ida whatsoever. However, like Lauren Weeks, still the GOAT, still can run a 58. You've got, and then most people, I mean, I think people forget just because this is such a recency sport. Like Linda and Viola didn't race in Amsterdam, but they're typically right there for fighting for 3rd and 4th, right? So I think, you get to be the man, you got to beat the man. Could she do it? Maybe, but Joanna and Kate have run a sub 60. We haven't seen that. I mean, that's 3 minutes. That's a massive time. Right. But again, like I also don't know how are these people going to do traveling to Hong Kong, which for the Europeans is 12 hours difference.
Ida is someone known to travel well. So I'm just saying it's just an interesting thing to throw her name into the conversation.
Yeah, but did we even talk about Michaela, who hasn't been in the mix for a while because she's been out for various ailments? Is she 100%?
I don't know. I mean, she wasn't for Amsterdam, and she said she wasn't. I haven't seen anything on her Instagram that says that she's healthy. But again, like that's a good point too, Matt. If she's healthy, she also, prior to Joanna coming in, was the 3rd fastest woman. So like, she's right there.
If I was a gambler, I wouldn't put money on that one. That's for sure.
Because you just think she's had too many.
It's too. And I don't really. The similarities may seem odd, but she's a lot like David Magida.
Just hot and cold.
In prime health, very dangerous, but
right.
Prime health doesn't come along as much as we'd like.
Yep. Yeah, quick couple notes. Magida didn't race even though he was there. I know he's also got business relationships with them with 365. Our buddy Riker did start, but had some of his issues and ended up bailing. So
for a while he was first.
Hope you feel better, Riker. He was first on the leaderboard on the leaderboard.
He ran a 53 minute.
53 minutes. Riker's the new world record holder.
Dude, when that first came up, I actually read it wrong, and I thought that said Rich, and that's what he had done, and I was like, "No way!" And it was no way. But I was just...
So if you'd like to watch the women in Hong Kong, it is 4:30 a.m.
Tough.
That's a tough one. So wake up on is it Friday or Saturday?
Friday. It's Friday this time.
So Friday. So you'll wake up. So it's Thursday night. They're starting.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, they're ahead.
They're ahead. So they're going to be racing Friday night. It'll be Friday morning our time. So when you wake up while you're having your cup of Resolute on Friday morning, you can rewatch the races.
Nice drop. Well done.
Look at you. Yeah. What a professional. Okay. Quick. While we're mentioning your hats, though, are you a big fan of Bass Pro Shops?
No, it's just like it's in vogue right now, Matt. It's like it's what the kids are doing.
I wasn't sure if it was ironic or not. I don't know what the kids are into these days.
Graham, I don't know if you noticed, Graham had a Bass Pro hat on. I think Graham's cool. He's a cool guy.
I did not know that. I know Buc-ee's is a thing now. Is it like that? Is it cool like Buc-ee's?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's just like it's just like I don't have a good reason for it. What do
I know? All right, the dudes.
I would say my guess is just because I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I'm gonna go for podium. I'm gonna go Lauren Weeks. I'm gonna go Joanna, and then I'm gonna go Linda Meyer.
All right, well, let's go back now that we're doing. All
right, go back. I'm willing to take a swing.
Okay, go for it, Dave. I'll go last.
All right. I got Lauren Weeks. I got Joanne, and I am gonna throw in. This is a tough one, but I'm going with Kate Davey.
I like that pick. I like Kate. I got to interview Kate. She's super cool, down to earth. She's also on the hybrid engine training. She definitely could do it.
Okay, who did you pick? Who did you pick third, Matt?
Linda Meyer.
Okay, and who did you pick second?
Joanna.
Okay, so I'm going to go Lauren first, Joanna second, and I'm going to go with Team USA, Lauren Griffith third. There you go.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
A bad pick.
Bet you a something. I don't know what we're going to bet. Dustin says Weeks, Griffith, and Navy. Dustin showing up in Dallas, which we also could talk about, but let's first go to the dudes. So Hunter didn't do the last one either, right? And he's also skipping this one.
Yep.
Correct.
And we thought this would be the year Hunter does more majors.
I never thought that.
I thought he would to make up for last year, and maybe he learned like I should do more of these. That's what I thought.
Well, I don't think he ever believed that was his issue. I think he believed his issue was that he trained down too late, and then he overtrained. So by that regard, it would actually suit him to race less and peak and valley and just consistent and get ready for his key races. So I think you'll see him really try to roll into, I'm going to assume Vegas tip top shape. And then if that doesn't work, head to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the question would be if we think JK can beat Alex, because I don't think Michael could right now. Do you?
To be the man, you got to beat the man, and there is nothing in the last 9 months that says that Ronk's going to get beat. That doesn't mean that he can't.
But I'm saying the only one who could is JK. I was saying I don't think Sandy can either.
Yeah, I don't know. Sandy posted that he had some health stuff going on, so I just don't know what type of fitness he's coming in. That'd be the question. But JK's fitness is going to be there. And Rylan posted the other day that he's got his breathing back most days. So and he's been over there for 2 weeks.
I think Rylan and JK are the only ones right and this one that I think have a good shot at it. I don't think Michael Sandbach is a good bet to beat Alex. But Rylan and JK, and I don't think anyone's a good bet to beat Alex in that field. But Rylan and JK are the ones that have the best chance in my mind.
Yeah.
Sandy, have we seen him since World Champs?
No. He was supposed to race Amsterdam, but he had a health thing that he posted about. That's why I didn't go. That's what I'm saying. I just don't know what type of shape he's rolling up in. I would imagine he's been over there for a while. He was like training in Vietnam or something for a little bit. So like you got to imagine he probably doesn't go if he doesn't think that he can win. My argument for Sandy would be he quit his job. He's now making money as an athlete and as a coach. And he talked about this after World Championships. It's different when you're racing, when your livelihood actually depends on it. So the dude might have one of the highest ceilings in the sport. So if he's healthy and he's fit, like I'm with Dave, I probably personally wouldn't do it till I see it. But if Sandy winds up top 3, top 2, or even winds up winning, I wouldn't be shocked.
I'll be honest, the win, I'd be shocked. Podium, not so much, but the win would shock me. If he can beat Kelly, Ronkovic, and Rylan and Paleo, yeah, that would shock me if he could come in ahead of all four of those. To end up on the podium, not so stunning, but out and out win, I would be very surprised.
So he did 53 in Amsterdam. Is that correct?
It probably hasn't been adjusted with the post-race adjustment.
Who is that, Sandbach?
No, I'm looking at JK. Sorry.
Oh,
look at JK.
It probably hasn't been adjusted because
at one point though, time aside, at one point JK was within one wall ball of Ron.
Yes.
So he is a legit threat.
Yeah,
and
55
Nobody transitions better than JK.
Yeah, he's definitely.
I'm gonna go Ronkovic, JK, Pelayo.
If everybody's healthy, looking at this list, wouldn't we just say even these first 5 guys are probably, and then everyone else is like the pack? Would that be safe bet?
Yeah, I think so.
Like Bo all the way down is like, who knows what would happen, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, you could have any one of those guys sneak into that top 5. Or top 6, sorry.
Right. So, all right, we're making picks. Wouldn't it be awesome if JK did beat him and make Ronico go, holy shit? Maybe.
Yeah, it'd make
that
for
be awesome?
it'd make it for a fun storyline.
All right, I'll do it for you. I'm going Kelly, Ronkovic, Shadag.
Nice.
Okay.
Your last, Matt. Who you got?
Just to pull it.
I said it would be nice, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to say Alex is too strong to be beaten. JK second. And then I got to decide whose health I believe more, Rylan or Michael.
I've seen Rylan do it this year when he said he wasn't sure, and now he's saying his health is better. To me, that's a good indicator that he's good to go.
I don't know. I want to say that sometimes with this stuff, I don't want to pick on the guy. It's tough to tell. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like, here's my health, here's my comeback, here's my not so comeback. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to tell with people. Because when he showed up without trying the first time in Chicago, was it Chicago a year ago or DC a year ago? We were like, holy shit, Rylan is gonna fuck these guys up pretty badly. Because this isn't even him at prime stuff.
Right. That's why he got second by Hank Kent.
Yeah, and he crushed everyone in Deca. I'm gonna say Playo.
Hell yeah. The Mats riding together here.
Not a bad pick.
Quickly before we go, Dustin saying Rylan could win it. We want to give you one more chance. One more chance to pick who's going to win the what do you call it?
Hyrox code.
Hyrox. What's the giveaway?
A free race, Hyrox race. Free Hyrox race. You know, one of those things we all like to do. All you got to do is right now guess as close as possible my PFT time while wearing a weight vest. And what do you say? We got like a minute left, 2 minutes left, Matt?
Yeah.
All right.
7:10 on now.
That's
all right.
7:10.
I gotta go. My son is screaming. Nick Bear is gonna run 60-45. Matt B. Davis, it was a pleasure being on here. Love you all.
You're welcome back. Anytime.
All
right,
Matt,
yeah.
To fill
Okay.
2 minutes. To fill
Okay.
2 minutes.
No, we're good.
Okay.
I'm not in a rush. We can. He needed to go, but I'm okay if you're okay. Just talking for a few minutes about Dallas.
Yep.
But go ahead. Pick your time. There's been a lot of guesses. You're gonna have a lot of work to do going through these comments, by the way.
I have had somebody on the job. We're good.
We have someone on 11.
Okay, good. Then
So-
it's probably Rye who commented earlier, and I meant to highlight it, and I might have forgot to. But let's quickly go to, as we wrap up here. Can you hear that music in the background?
No, I can't. You're okay.
Okay, I hope I don't get shut down by YouTube. I'm at this pub-ish area. Now I'm officially in the dark here. We want to talk about, did you see the announcement, Dave, just made? Rebecca Fuselier,
Yes. One of my favorite CrossFitters.
who started off in the youth division, made her way up to the pros, and now racing this weekend.
Yeah, and if you don't follow her, she has some very amusing content, and she also has this really cool thing for people who want to learn some new movements, some CrossFit moves. It's like a $5 instructional video on, say, how to do handstand walks, how to do muscle ups, how to do butterfly pull-ups, and it's like $5, and you should get. It's great. It's fantastic. There is no better value in fitness.
No better value in fitness,
No
says
better
Dave.
value in
Says
fitness.
Dave Claxton.
Yes.
Wow.
100%. And she's short, so I'm on team short people. So that's
Okay. Nick Bear. Do we want to talk about Nick Bear's potential time?
I mean, Nick Bear is obviously remarkably fit, and he is not going into this blind. He's had a lot of work with Ryan and Rich, so I think he's going to be very well prepared. And I think he has. I mean, I know I don't like using the term influencer, but I think he has the potential to have the best debut of any influencer out there.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. He is early on the hybrid game. He is early on the let me film my life and see how it goes game. He's certainly the most prepared of any of these quote unquote, hybrid athlete. A lot of the guys that just say, hey, I can lift fast I can lift heavy and run fast, or lift heavy and run, period. He certainly has, he's looks like the most prepared one. So I don't know if he'll go sub 60 or not, but yeah, I like his chance to do decent. But like everything, right? Good play until you get hit in the face. All the sims in the world don't matter.
Yeah, but
if the field goes out fast, will he get sucked into that? All that stuff.
I think he's a guy too that is he's got that competitive drive.
Can I announce?
All right. Oh, are we ready to? We can announce our winner.
Oh, I thought we were going to wait till after the show. Okay, sure.
Yeah, we can do it right now. Are you ready?
Hang on.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Did anybody hit it exactly? First question.
Was anybody right on?
No.
Are we going closest without going over?
No, it's not the Price is Right. It's not the Price is Right. It's just closest.
Okay, so the final guess was Zach Tate with 24.45, which I know is incorrect.
What I am going to say about Zach Tate's, he take away the weight vest, and I think he's pretty close.
So just to be clear, Rye has not missed a single one going back to minute one of the podcast.
Yep, she's been watching the whole thing.
All right, I trust you wholeheartily. The winner of the free Hyrox race is
she's going to put it in the comments right now.
Oh, she's going to put it in the comments. The winner of the free Hyrox race
is. Hold on, we're waiting.
Houston, Texas, 9-4. You guessed closest.
He was the first guess.
Wow. So listen, that's amazing. Because not only is he got within 11 seconds, but he also is a frequent commenter of the show. And so it went to a deserving guy, not some Johnny come lately.
Awesome. Just message me, dude. We'll set you all up.
I think we should do this every week.
I don't think I have enough to give away every week, but I can probably do it again.
What is more likely, them allowing us to do live streams or them to give you a code to give away every week?
Well, as an ambassador, we get a certain amount of codes to give away, and they have their ways they like to do it. They did approve this one, and hopefully they're happy with it, and maybe we'll do some more.
All right. I think you should bump it up, though. I think you should be like, listen, we're doing this every week. It's a way to promote Hyrox. Anyway, okay. So
I got one
who
more.
Who else is racing besides
him? I believe both Rich and Kent are racing there as well.
Right. Is it a trap game for Rich Ryan now that he's already?
Oh, you muted yourself, Matt. Oh, it's a good thing he did. He's coughing anyway. Let's let him cough away.
Go ahead.
All right. Oh no, we're yawning. We're not coughing. All right. Yeah. So I believe you got Rich, Ryan, and I think Dylan is going to be there as well. I cannot say that 100%. I might be wrong, but I believe that's what he had said.
I'm going to go to the start list while you're doing that.
Yeah, you can have a pretty good race. So I think if Nick Bear is smart, he will not overdo the start. Maybe not go out quite so fast with those guys and see if he can make it up at the end. But I'm sure, having been training with Rich and Ryan Kent, he will be dialed in as to what his opening paces should be.
Hyrox Pro, Scott. We got a Dylan Scott racing at 1850 and a Zane Scott racing at 1910. So good luck, Zane Scott.
Yeah, for sure.
Who else on that one?
Those are the ones I'm aware of. I think isn't this the rate? Is it this one in Miami, which are the qualifiers for the doubles?
Ooh,
I might be wrong. Pretty sure Miami's right, but I thought it was Dallas and Miami.
Hyrox Pro. I feel like we would have heard much more about this if it was
maybe. That's why I say. That's why I think I might be wrong, but it's sitting on my head that might be the case.
Well, I wrote an article on this, right? Hyrox Pro Doubles, Hybrid Fitness Media. Oops, shit. Yeah, we would have heard about it, I feel like, because teams would be wanting to do it, right?
Houston. Thank you. It's Houston, not Dallas. I had the right state, wrong city.
Yeah, I was going to say we definitely would have heard more about this.
Yeah,
it's not until March, and then Miami, which has been announced, and then Paris and London, if they've been announced already. I don't know if those have been announced already.
I don't know.
Same weekend as Glasgow.
Yeah.
So
That'll be
take a break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. What a great live show. Congratulations to everybody who joined us. Go ahead, Dave.
I do have one question for you. And this was all the talk in the CrossFit community. It's not really going to happen.
Okay.
Tia Toomey signing up to do a Hyrox. Everybody thought it'd be a solo, but it turns out that she's going to do doubles with James Newberry. What do you think she would have done if she had done a solo for her opener? Because you know a lot of CrossFit people were very excited and said she'd set world records and all that stuff. So I'm just curious, Matt B. Davis, what do you think Tia Toomey would have done in her debut?
Well, first of all, just because she's doing a doubles doesn't mean she's never doing singles.
No, of course not. This is some deep thought.
Well, I'm just trying to think, like, she's certainly going to do it. Like, we talk about like a guy like Nick, like, you know, coming in and guessing the pay. Like, she's a professional. She's not gonna do like the rookie mistake thing. So then it's just a matter of what can she actually put in. Hybrid Anthony just guessed 63.
And while you're thinking yours, I'm going to say I actually came up with very similar to Anthony. I had between 62 and 64. What I did is I went and I analyzed her running paces from the Rogue Invitational, where they had that sandbag carry with 400 meters in between. Got what her running pace would be, put that onto span over a Hyrox 8.7 kilometers, and then gave her credit for being able to do the fastest zones possible. So the same as Lauren Weeks did in her world record setting race. And that put her at about a 62:30.
But see, that's how never I would do it. I would look at the top like 5 women right now and then think, okay, who could she maybe, like, she's not going to beat the top 2 women the first time. That's how I would do it. So let's do that. Let's go to the Elite 15. Let's go to, because you know me, I'm a parking lot feel for thing
parking
guy.
lots, and you just going by feel. I went by math on this one. Yep. And yeah, Ricky Garrard, he did a 62-ish. Christy O'Donnell, she was 64 something. O'Connell, sorry, not O'Donnell. Christy Guillermo O'Connell.
It's funny. You know, the men, we were looking at all the men top times, and I was trying to see who did more than like the 54s, and it's like those 4 men, and then there's a bunch of different stuff. The women, the top times, Lauren, Meg, Joanna. There's a Joanna in there.
Meg.
Yeah. So you have to get all the way down to 16th fastest time of Kate Davey of 1:43 before you get one of those different women besides Lauren or Meg. Oh, sorry. Joanna snuck in there.
Yeah.
Kayla snuck in there. Joanna also has 2 other of the fastest times. I mean, if Linda did a 1:01:02, we don't think she could do that?
No.
Just because it's her first time?
No, because her running pace is not good enough.
That's a good point.
We know Hyrox is running. The zones, the stations don't give. She's going to smash the stations, but there's not enough time to be made there to compensate for the deficit on her run.
All right, so let's do it. So let's do it your way. You gave her the fastest Lauren does all of them.
Yes.
Or the fastest anybody does all of them.
So I took the station times from Lauren's world record.
Okay.
From Lauren's world record, and I added that to what I would estimate Tia's running pace to be. Put those together.
Okay, but let's back up one more step.
Yeah.
Of those world record times that Lauren did, are there people that do those in any of those individual stations faster?
Oh, possibly, yeah. But I mean, there's like people who do massive burpee broad jump times and then run 6-minute kilometers after.
No, forget running times. I'm just talking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I just don't.
What if we did that? What if we took the best times of anybody ever of just stations and then looked at her run time and did it that way?
I suppose that's possible. But
remember what Hunter said to me 2 years ago when he won the world championship? He said, I tried to be the best at each one of those things.
And he wasn't able to do so.
No, that was the year he won. That was the year.
Yeah, I know he won, but he still didn't do the best at each station. I don't see.
Heather White chiming in with a good insight. Those sandbags of Rogue didn't compromise Tia's legs in the run like Hyrox stations will.
And that's why I actually think I'm being very, not flattering, but I think the 62:30 is optimistic.
So I think that's what we're saying. We're saying 62.30. Zach's saying 65 would be the high, right? If she
Yeah,
did
I would
if
think
she did a 106, we would be like, what happened?
I would 60. Yeah, 106 would surprise me, especially with Christy O'Connell doing a 64-ish. I think she can beat Christy O'Connell, but I don't think she can get below 62. 60. Realistically, I think 63, but the math had 62.30.
I just really hope whoever she does race in her first singles, she does she races against some good women. Because if she happens to win one where a lot of the top women are at, then we'll never hear the end of it.
Well, yeah, like when Christy won, right? Like she won a very loose field,
right? But they're getting tighter and tighter, right?
Yeah.
Especially in America where you don't have a lot of chances to qualify.
Yep. I mean, look, like we said, we just had in Chicago, we had some very strong women there, and that was not a major. That was just a straight race.
All right, so I'll go just to be different. If you say 62.30 and hybrid says 63 flat, I'll say 63.59.
There we go. So he's taking the over on 62.30. There you
go. That could be another contest next time for your Hyrox code.
There we go. We could do an over under. Yeah.
All right, Dave. Let's wrap it up, buddy.
Yes, sir.
I do have some exciting news to share with you that I'll share after the break. After the live. But you can listen to this whole thing on podcast tomorrow, along with, I think I'm going to go ahead and include the interviews from Chicago, which there's only a few, but I want to share those with you. You can find Dave on the OFX podcast.
Yes, sir.
Congrats to Houston, Texas 94. What's your first name? We'll shout you out. Special thanks to co-producer Rye on the show for being our comment watcher.
Yeah. And like I said, DM me and we'll get you that code.